Journal.
Recognizing result T 100 left house. Should see if Otto and Otto is working below the Yati between the guest house and the Abbott's house. The 3 to 2 T. People close saw. Lunch is done. It was nice catching up. Otto and Edris, but it is about time one dead. Back to this group 4 young to work on the book. Of hours. 13. Lawrence invited me to eat at the Abbott's table. I'm not sure one welcome, but one can't refuse. The invitation, one Joel Wishapata. I'm not Lawrence invited me to eat at the Abbott's table. I'm not sure one welcome, but one can't refuse. The invitation, one Joel Wishapata. Lavatorium of the cloister, the lavatorium of the cloister intenda. The lavatorium of the cloister intenda. Pentiment.
Old Bailey. Scriptorium. Cemetery. Scriptorium. Church. Dormitory. Church. Old Bailey. Dormitory. Tower. Crypt. Cloister. Cloister. Church. Dormitory. Kitchen and cemetery. Kitchen and cellar. Dormitory. Church. Refectory. Courtyard and large garden. Large garden. Courtyard and lavatorium. Cloister. Piero says Andreas. I'm so glad you'll be joining us for supper, though the circumstances are unusual, to be sure. I won't be able to speak with you, none of the brothers will, but it will be good to have you with us. Player says that's a shame. I always enjoy our talks. Piero says now, the same doesn't apply to you at the Abbott's table. You can talk all you like. Though I wouldn't recommend it. Father Abbott does not look kindly on idle chatter. Option 1 of 3 I hope I don't make a fool of myself. These men are far above my station. Option 2 of 3 I wish you could take my place, Brother Piero. You deserve the honor. Option 3 of 3 supper with an abbot and a nobleman. I could get used to this. Option 2 of 3 I wish you. Player says anyway, I'm sorry for how the prior treated you. It's not fair. It's humiliating. Piero says oh no, my son. There's no need to worry about me or my pride. And we all need a taste of humility from time to time to keep our feet on this earth. No, Andreas, you are my pride. I cannot claim to have taught you much, but I am proud to have known you and your work. And when you leave all of us at Pierce Abbey behind, you can call upon your friend Lawrence, the Baron Rothvogel, to help you in your career. Option 1 of 2 he's wrong, you know. Ferenc is wrong about you being slow. Option 2 of 2 there's nothing wrong with your style. It's not old just because a nobleman says so. Option 1 of 2 Piero says don't trouble yourself over it. Time passes for us all, things change, the future will write over the present. You need not fear it, any of it, so long as you remain true to yourself and God. Now I must hurry to the refectory to join my brothers. I will see you inside. Journal.
Recognizing results of middle fifth to the net across town and bed up to the start work at this group. Sir, Clarikine should see if Otto and Edris. Otto is working below the Yati with the guest house group. Section. Alicus Dolorimus. Glossary. Lunch is done. This was Otto and Edris. Back to this group 4 young to work on the hours. Non-spout 13. Lawrence invited me to eat at the Abbott's table. I'm not sure I'm welcome, but one can't refuse. The invitation, one Joel Wishapat. Lavatorium in the cloister and then join the brothers in the refectory. Claus is going to be annoyed that I'm missing. Dinner with the brothers again. Tabs. Dinner with the brothers again. Claus is going to be brothers in the refectory. Pentiment.
Cloister. Cloister. Courtyard and lavatorium. Large garden. Modest chapter house, infirmary, Upper Abbey. Chapter house, monastery, aquarium, large garden, courtyard and lavatorium, refectory. Lawrence says Andreas. Glad you could join us. Player says thank you, my lord. Father Gernot, Father Thomas. Prior Ferenc. Matthew says Simon Peter answered, you are the Messiah, the Son of the living God. Lawrence says oh, the Gospel of Matthew. Wonderful. Matthew says Jesus replied, blessed are you, Simon son of Jonah, for this was not revealed to you by flesh and blood, but by my Father in heaven. And I tell you that you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of Hades will not overcome it. Lawrence says have you read Matthew much, Andreas? Option 1 of 4 some, yes. Option 2 of 4 not really, to be honest. Option 3 of 4 nod head. Option 4 of 4 shake head. Option 1 of 4 some, yes. Option 2 of 4 not really, to be honest. Option 1 of 4 some, yes. Gernot says ahem. Matthew says I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven. Whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth will be loosed in heaven. Then he ordered his disciples not to tell anyone that he was the Messiah. Lawrence says whatever you bind on earth will be bound in heaven. That reminds me, Father Gernot, have you read anything by Martin Luther? Gernot says I can't say that I. Lawrence says he has some incredible ideas about the church. Brilliant, I think. Gernot says my lord, is the meal to your liking? I believe I remember you enjoying our quail on your last visit. Lawrence says the quail? My God, Father Abbot, the quail's fine, but don't you think Luther's ideas are worth discussing? He's talking about the future of the church, shaking things up in a way I don't think we've seen before. Father Thomas, you see value in his ideas, do you not? Thomas says my lord. I mean no offense, but I do not. Lawrence says brother. Matthew, yes. How appropriate. What are your thoughts on Luther's attacks on the church's sale of indulgences? Matthew says. Gernot says Baron, please do not involve the other brothers in this conversation. Lawrence says fine, fine. What about Andreas? Certainly a man who attended the same university as Martin Luther can spare some thoughts on his work. Option 1 of 3 why not? Where should we start? Option 2 of 3 I must respect Father Abbot's wishes at his table, my lord. Option 3 of 3 remain silent. Lawrence says ET2, Andreas. I expected more of you. Gernot says enough. Lord Rothvogel, you are our guest and held in high esteem, but you have worn out my patience. You will not be discussing Luther's work with Andreas, Thomas, Matthew, or with any other brother. Is that clear? Lawrence says I suppose, Father. It is your abbey, but you're taking too much offense at this and you're far too afraid of change. Whether it's from Luther or someone else, reform is coming to the church. You had better accept it. Gernot says what? Neither you nor Martin Luther dictate change to the Holy Church on their whim. This talk is beyond insulting. It's blasphemous. Outrageous. How dare you? Lawrence says I see. I have overstepped my bounds. And I suppose I have ruined everyone's supper. My apologies. In spite of this unpleasantness I will make good on my manuscript payment and the donation of my copy of Historia Tascia. If you cannot accept what the future will bring, perhaps it's time for you to come to terms with your past. Well, no need to overstay my welcome. Fathers, brothers, Andreas, good night. Gernot says thank you, Andreas, for not letting him engage you in his debate. No good would have come of it. Now then, I must ask you to leave so I can speak to the brothers in chapter privately. Brother Piero, please accompany Andreas out. Thomas says I will take my leave as well. Good night. Piero says don't worry about Father Gernot and the Baron. I'm sure it will all be fine by morning. I hope Father Abbot can see that the Baron's heart is in the right place, even if he picked the wrong time to express himself. Option 1 of 2 that seems unlikely. Option 2 of 2 I think the Baron should apologize if he wants to be forgiven. Option 1 of 2 that seems unlikely. Piero says it may be so, but we must never lose hope. In any case, I do hope the Baron respects the Abbot's wishes for the rest of his stay, for everyone's sake. Player says Brother Piero, what do you think of Martin Luther's ideas? Piero says ha. That is for younger and wiser men than me to decide. I am just a monk, thank God. Good night, my son. Player says I should get some sleep. Lower Abbey. Shrine. Convent Garden. Shrine. Lower Abbey. Upper Abbey. There's a lamp still burning in the guest house. Lawrence must still be awake. I wonder how he's doing. And what was he thinking? He's a baron, but he couldn't have expected that to go well. The storm doesn't seem to be letting up anytime soon. I should get back to the Gertners. Upper Abbey. Meadow. Guest house. Guest house. Guest house. Guest house. Meadow. Ga. Till says, are you alright, Master Mailer? Option 1 of 3, I believe that I may have just seen the physical manifestation of a spirit. Option 2 of 3D, did you see that? In the aqueduct? Till says, the ghost. Option 1 of 2, yes. Option 2 of 2, maybe. Till says it could be a Roman. Maybe even an old pagan. Wouldn't be the first time people have seen ghosts around these parts. Option 1 of 3. Interesting. Option 2 of 3, I don't think it was a ghost. Option 3 of 3, have you ever seen one? Till says MMHM, usually around the ruins. Who knows how many restless Romans lie beneath those stones. Player says. Till says, well, I think I found Yuan's last lost sheep. I'm going to head home. Take care, Master Mailer. Option 1 of 3, I will. Thank you, Till. Option 2 of 3, you too. Option 3 of 3, good night, Till. Player says, irises. Beautiful. Forest. Mill. Church and druckers. Emily says, no. Pale horse. Pale horse. Still on the floor. Option 1 of 2, he hello. Are you alright in there? Option 2 of 2, remain silent. Option 1 of 2, he hello. Emily says, Matins. Matins. The pale horse, death. Thomas says, sister, listen to my voice. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? Emily says, yes. Yes, Father. I hear you. Am I here? Is this now? Thomas says, yes, you are with us. And this is now. I apologize, Andreas. I imagine that must have been quite alarming. Player says, is she alright? Thomas says she is, yes. Sister Emily is a mystic, gifted with visions when God sees fit to give her one. Some are more frightening than others. Option 1 of 2, what is she doing in there? Does option 2 of 2, how long has she been here? Option 1 of 2, what is she doing in there? Does she live in the church? Thomas says she lives there, yes. I'm a little surprised you haven't noticed her before. If you came to Mass more often, you would see that I give her communion through a window to her cell. Player says her cell? Thomas says she is an anchoress, a religious hermit so devoted to God that she has enclosed herself in a cell next to the church. She is dead to the world, but continues a life of prayer and religious contemplation. And sometimes, ever so rarely, she receives great and terrible visions. Player says, is she local to Tassing or was she a nun at Thiersa? Thomas says neither. She came here from a Benedictine abbey in Lower Bavaria after it burned down. I am her confessor and caretaker. Many anchoresses are not literate. I write down her visions to help interpret them. Player says, I thought all of the monks and nuns at Thiersa could read, even poor Brother Bookbird. Emily says, thank you, Father Thomas. I must rest now. Thomas says, of course, sister. Option 1 of 2, she seems unhappy. Option 2 of 2, it sounds like she is in a great deal of pain. Option 1 of 2, she seems unhappy. Thomas says she is not unhappy, but she is in pain, both physical and spiritual. Her spiritual pain comes from her revelations. They come and go. I try to address them as best I can. The physical pain comes from a deformity in her spine and aching in her joints. I know of no cure for that, save prayer to the Almighty. Player says Sister Emily was saying she had a vision of death. Could someone be in danger? Thomas says, oh, No, don't rush to judgment. Her visions are divine and powerful, but they could have many meanings. Some of her revelations take years to comprehend. Some may never be understood at all, as God wills it. Still, the argument at dinner was quite troubling. Perhaps it has cast a shadow over our thoughts. Now then, the good sister appears to have fallen back to sleep. I must prepare for bed myself. Good night, Andreas. Player says good night, father. Mill. Franz Bauer and Widow Kemperin, Drucker House. Central Town Commons. Zimmerman House. Yuan Bauer Farm. Gerdner Farm. Gerdner Farm. Gerdner House. Gerdner House. Gerdner Farm. Gerdner Farm. Gerdner Guest Room. Gerdner Guest Room. Gerdner House. Go to bed. Player says it's getting late, I should get some rest. Option 1 of 2 go to sleep. Option 2 of 2 stay awake. Option 1 of 2 go to sleep. Go to bed. Player says time to get back to work. Journal.
Recognizing result document FTM next between the Baron and THC Abbott. Hopefully. Supper ended badly. An argument erupted. Hour. X Libris. Max. X Libris. Hour. Supper ended badly. An argument erupted. Between the Baron and THC Abbott. Hopefully. It will get worked out in the morning. 1. Should head back to my room to get Negro's S. And get some sleep. Who? L right parenthesis do it to it. Close. 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 Pentiment.
Go to bed. I'm not tired yet. Perhaps after Compline. Go to bed. Gerdner House. Ursula says why not? Eva says SHHHH. It's alright, Ursula. Option 1 of 2 good morning. What happened? Option 2 of 2 good morning. Do you need any help with Ursula? Eva says no, a little crying won't hurt her. Besides, I think we've gotten almost all the leaks now. Clara says Ursula is my first child and she's been a handful, but I think I have the hang of it now. Big Gerd has been a godsend. He helped Christine with Eva when she was a baby. I never took you for a family man, Andreas. Option 1 of 2 I am not. Not yet. I just wanted to be helpful. Clara says I appreciate the offer. You'll make a fine husband someday, Andreas. Eva says ugh. When will this storm let up? It's been going all morning. Clara says Peter and Jörg are outside, trying to deal with the flooding as best they can. Option 1 of 2 oh my. Is the farm in danger? Option 2 of 2 I certainly hope everything's alright at the Abbey. Option 1 of 2 oh my. Eva says there's always a danger with this much rain, but we've lived through worse. Whatever happens, it will be as God wills it. We must have faith in Providence and endure what is to come. Oh, I have some food for you. Here. Sorry I couldn't prepare anything more. Option 1 of 2 thank you. Otto wanted me to say hello, by the way. Option 2 of 2 thank you. I appreciate everything you do. It's sweet. Eva says oh, well. It's nothing, really. Option 1 of 2 no, I mean it. You'll make a good wife someday. Option 2 of 2 I appreciate it all the same. Eva says have a good day at the Abbey, Andreas. Try to stay dry. Player says thanks. You too. Good luck. Be good, Ursula. Peter says Andreas. Option 1 of 3 are you doing alright, Peter? Option 2 of 3 oh, I didn't see that the wall was broken. Option 3 of 3 some storm. Is it option 3 of 3 some storm? Is it always like this? Peter says every year, but the last few have been worse. This is the third time I've had to fix the wall this year. This is the way it always is. Rain falls on the abbey and rolls downhill to us little people. Player says, well, it's hard to blame the abbey for that. That's just how rain works. Peter says there's a reason we're down here and they're up there, Andreas. Anyway, I have to get back to this. See you later. Journal.
Recognizing Brazil X Libris Journal, Max, Matilli, people in, I'm your 5, the EU, the ill, Tini, I LTRT, the week is awful but I still have to get to. This reportorium hopefully tempers that. Calm down since last night. Group, LP, Zoom, close, Pentiment.
Gerdner House. Gerdner House. Town Commons. Gerdner Farm. Entries. Central Town. Entry, Gerdner Farm. Town Commons. Gerdner Farm. Gerdner Farm, entries. Central Town. Entries. Entry says hello, Andreas. Player says good morning, entries. So, Otto and Eva. Entry says yes. What about them? Option 1 of 2, how is their courtship developing? Doing fine, you think? Option 2 of 2, come now, tell me juicy details about what's going on between them. Option 1 of 2, how is their entry says I'm not a gossip, Andreas. Option 1 of 3, I do not ask just to pour water onto the rumor mill, but for the concern I have for the happiness of my friends. Option 2 of 3, Otto practically asked me to be his messenger. I'm only trying to understand how things stand. Entry says, did you really? Or did you just assume the part all on your own? You've started picking up poor habits during your time in Tassing, Andreas. It can't be the Goethes. Peter is stern. Maybe the monks talk too much. Well, if you ask me, I think Otto's being a bit too slow about it. Player says, oh. Entry says he's old enough already not to be smitten like a boy. They both like each other. Seems to me, if you found the right person, you should go for it. It's what I would do. Option 1 of 2, what stopped you? Option 2 of 2, where is Mistress Schmidten, if I may ask? Entry says, that's a private matter. Option 1 of 2, you can trust me, entries. Aren't we? Option 2 of 2, I have an attendant, Sabina, waiting for me in Nuremberg. Option 1 of 2, you can trust me, entries. Aren't we friends? Entry says that's what the gossipers always say. But we are friends, I can't deny that. I do hope to find someone to have at my side as we build a family. God has not given me this blessing. Option 1 of 2, worry not. It could happen at any moment, entries. Option 2 of 2, it may not be as remarkable as people say. Option 1 of 2, entry says one hopes so. I must get back to work, Andreas. Enough talk. Player says until later. Entries. Central Town. Entry, Gerdner Farm. Gerdner Farm. Gerdner House. Gerdner House. Town Commons. Gerdner Farm. Entries. Central Town. Alvin Bake forward, North Town. Forward, Alvin Bakery. Forward, North Town. Steinauer House. Petschlaw, Church and Druckers. Central Town. Drucker House. Franz Bauer, Mill. Thomas. Lucky says, Father, I've said this before, but it isn't good that the water drains here so quickly. It's affecting the foundation. It needs to be looked at. Thomas says, I understand, but if you dig here, you may be disturbing the bodies decomposing in the yard. Lucky says, of course, Father, but they're going to be dug back up again anyway. Thomas says, yes, but why disturb them unnecessarily? Lucky says, it's your church, Father, but you can't put this off forever. The foundation is going to crack. Thomas says, I understand. Perhaps after some of the bones have been moved to the ossuaries. Thank you, Lucky. Lucky says, MM. Thomas says ah, good day, Master Mailer. Player says good day, Father Thomas. Option 1 of 2 everything alright with the church? Option 2 of 2 I didn't mean to eavesdrop. Option 1 of 2 Thomas says oh, yes. Lucky was again reminding me of the danger severe rainfall can pose to the foundation. God looks after his flock, but sometimes the pen requires an earthly hand. It will be taken care of. God be with you, Andreas. Player says and with you, Father Thomas. Until later. Meadow. Forest. Meadow. Milk. Till. Forest. Till. Till says hello there, Master Mailer. Player says hello, Till. Till says bump into any ghosts lately? Hee. Option 1 of 2 no, not since we last spoke. Option 2 of 2 ah, ha. Option 1 of 2 Till says good, good. Have you ever seen a nicer view? Don't get sites like this in the cities, I expect. Option 1 of 2 I can't say that Nuremberg has many Roman ruins, no. Option 2 of 2 I could do without the mud on my shoes, but the aqueduct does make a nice silhouette. Option 1 of 2 I can't say. Option 2 of 2 Till says oh yes, the old Roman ruins. Passing is full of them. Quite the marvels, they are. I don't pay much mind to the writing on them, as I can't read Latin myself, but you might enjoy giving them a look. If you do, you'll have to tell me if they match the old legends I read about. Option 1 of 2 what sort of old legends? Option 2 of 2 I didn't know you could read. Option 1 of 2 what sort of old legends? Till says well, when Father Matthias was abbot, he would let me borrow books from the abbey's library. I think I read through half of that library before Father Gernot became abbot. He and Father Thomas are strict about which books should be read, now. Books should glorify God, they say, not discuss the old pagan ways. Still, the accounts of the Romans in passing are my favorite. That old book talked about how the Roman knight Gaius Metellus defeated the Reti, I think it was. Heavy snowfall had him caught in this very valley, barbarians on all sides, when Mars sent a wolf to the night. Instead of killing the beast, Gaius followed it to a magical spring with trees covered in all sorts of fruit. Mars provided the wolf and the spring, and Gaius Metellus founded Tassing after defeating the barbarians to honor Mars. That's where all this came from. Option 1 of 2 I am surprised that Hearsaw has any record of Tassing before St. Moritz arrived. Option 2 of 2 a good story, if nothing else. Option 1 of 2 I Till says and written in German, at that. Heh. It might be all fable, but I enjoy the story all the same. It's nice to feel you're connected to those who came before you, even if it's only by the land you live on. Option 1 of 2 wise words. I feel the same. Option 2 of 2 I'd rather look forward to new opportunities, but I do see the value in looking back. Till says to each his own, I suppose. It's been good chatting with you, Master Mailer, but I'd better get back to work. You let me know if you find any particularly good books in that library, alright? Player says I will. Until later, Till. Till. Mill. 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 A shrine to St. Moritz. The statue looks ancient. Mill. Mill. Meadow. Roman ruins. Petstog. Church and Outer Farms. Church and Druckers, Petstog. Roman ruin, Meadow. Mill. Till. Forest. Martin. Okay. Martin. Martin says eat shit, Andreas. Attitude. Player says. I should get to the scriptorium. Gernot will give me an earful if I'm late again. Forest. Lower Abbey. Meadow. My Upper Abbey. Mike Laws. Mike Laws. Mike Laws says God be with you, Andreas. Option 1 of 2 is God with us. Look at this rain. My clause says the weather is unfortunate, but the Baron's wife, Lady Salomia, will be arriving today. My lord intends to depart as soon as she arrives. Player says how long have they been married? My clause says 7 years, now. She's a fine woman, a true lady. Player says I was hoping to bid farewell to the Baron before he leaves. My clause says I'm sure he would appreciate that. He spoke highly of you before he went to bed. He was disappointed that you didn't debate him at supper, but he understands that you didn't want to anger the abbot. Option 1 of 5 right. I still have to work here for the next month or two. Option 2 of 5 part of the art of rhetoric is understanding the right forum in which to persuade someone. Option 3 of 5 it's not good business to annoy your employer, even if you do so on behalf of your employer's patron. Option 4 of 5 he should have known that Luther's positions against the church wouldn't have been a welcome topic. Option 5 of 5 it's the abbot's table, the abbot rules. Option 1 of 5 right. My clause says of course. No need to make things more difficult for yourself. Player says is there any chance I could redeem myself in the Baron's eyes? My clause says perhaps not on this occasion. I believe you may have offended the Baron in some other way as well. Player says somewhat. My clause says for some ways. I would not fret too much about it, Master Mailer. He is a forgiving man. Player says where has your master gone, then? My clause says he went for a walk early in the morning. He didn't say when he'd be back. Option 1 of 2 I hope he returns soon. The rain is turning everything to mud. Option 2 of 2 that seems odd, given the weather. Option 1 of 2 my clause says my lord might surprise you, Andreas. He never minds getting mud on his boots. Of course, I'm the one who has to clean them. Option 1 of 2 the Baron seems to be quite an unusual man in many ways. Option 2 of 2 well, I apologize for taking up so much of your time. Good luck, good speed, and I hope you can keep dry. Option 1 of 2 my clause says it may be so. I only know him as my lord for these last 7 years. That reminds me. Did you see a short, surly-looking young man in a hat on your way up this morning? Option 1 of 3 wink. Surely you don't mean me. Option 2 of 3 that can only be Martin Bauer. Option 3 of 3 lie I didn't, I'm sorry. Option 2 of player says he ran past me in the meadow as I was walking up the hill. He was in quite a hurry. My clause says that would explain my lord's missing rings. Option 1 of 2 what rings are these? Option 2 of 2 frown. Option 1 of 2 my clause says 1 gold, 1 silver, a handful of golden, and a book the Baron was planning to give to the abbey. Player says a book. Historia Tasha? My clause says I believe so, yes. I went to pack the Baron's things and they were missing. Option 1 of 2 the boy is a known thief. It wouldn't surprise me if he's responsible for the missing rings. Option 2 of 2 why do you think Martin stole the rings? My clause says yesterday I caught the boy with the hat, Martin, I suppose, peering in through the windows. I could have admonished him at the time, but, well, he seemed harmless. Player says that's a shame. I hope the Baron won't be too put out. My clause says my lord is a man of some means. He won't miss the gold, or the rings. I do think he will be upset about the book. He was quite excited for the abbot to see it. In any case, I must finish preparing the horses. It was good talking to you, Andreas. Player says of course. I hope this rain lets up for you soon. My clause says God willing. Until next time. Player says until then. My clause. Meadow. Lower Abbey. Forest. Till. Mill. Church and Druggers. Mill. Till. Forest. Lower Abbey. Meadow. Upper Abbey. Lower Abbey. Church. Church. Upper Abbey. Monastery Aquarium. Cloister, Crib, Tower. Dormitory, Old Bailey. Old Bailey. Church. Scriptorium. 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 Guy says, oh, this is wonderful. The rest of the abbey is soaked and there's not a drop of rain in here. Good thing the abbot had auto replace the roof to the scriptorium and library last month. With the kale factory next door, we can stay warm while everyone else is cold and wet. Edoc says instead of bragging about our good fortune, you should think upon your brothers and sisters and pray for their health and safety. Player says the abbot's foresight saved a lot of our work and protected what's in the library. The town hasn't fared as well. Guy says I'm sure they'll be fine. More importantly, if they're not, I don't care. Edoc says brother Guy, your heart is harder than the stone of this floor. Guy says huh. We have the grumpy old monk, but where's the nice one? Player says brother Piero? Haven't you seen him yet today? Edoc says I did, before brother Guy arrived. Brother Piero left to speak to the abbot some time ago. Guy says what? Why is Matthew ringing the bell? It can't be terse already. Edoc says I pray it stops soon. Such a cacophony is an assault on my frail ears. Guy says it's not stopping. I suppose this means we're being summoned to the chapter house. Edoc says God, give me the strength to endure the rain. Guy says it's 50 feet, old man. You'll live. Edoc says God, give me the strength to endure this man. Player says it's still not stopping. What's going on? This can't all be because of the storm. I should see what's the matter. Journal. Old Bailey. Scriptorium. Cemetery. Scriptorium. Friar's house. Scriptorium. Cemetery. Scriptorium. Church. Dormitory. Church. Scriptorium. Old Bailey. Scriptorium. Church. Dormitory. Old Bailey. Dormitory. Church. Old Bailey. Dormitory. Tower. Crypt. Cloister. Cloister. Church. Dormitory. Kitchen and cellar. Cemetery. Kitchen and cellar. Dormitory. Church. That's coming. Refectory. Courtyard and large garden. Modest chapter house. Infirmary. Upper Abbey. Chapter house. Monastery. Loquarium. Large garden. Courtyard and lavatorium. Refectory. Refectory. Cloister. Kitchen and cellar. Large garden. Player says when the brothers eat their meals, this is where the lector reads to them. Kitchen and cellar. Cloister. Refectory. Courtyard and large garden. Modest chapter house. Option 1 of 2 what's happened? Option 2 of 2 remain silent. Option 1 of 2 what's happened? Guy says I think it's the Baron. He's been hurt. Piero says please, Father, where is Brother Florian? Have him come quickly. Gernot says be silent, brother. Brother Florian, if you please. Florian says I'm sorry, Father. There's nothing to be done. He's dead. Marguerite says aye. Cecilia says Sister Marguerite, calm yourself. Sister Gertrude, please take Sister Marguerite back to the garden. Gertrude says yes, Mother Cecilia. Gernot says God protect us. The Baron was, a friend of the Prince Bishop of Rising. Player says why is he so worried about the Prince Bishop? Guy says this abbey is odd in more than one way. Its existence offends some in the church. We are far enough from Rome and Mainz that everyone forgets about us, but this could bring unwanted attention. Gernot says Florian, how easily do you think you could dispose of this body? Florian says, Father Abbot, what are you saying? Gernot says why are you questioning me? Why are you wasting precious time? Do you want to see the soldiers of the Prince Bishop march up our steps and fling your brothers and sisters out of our home? Zidana says, Rutger says, Illuminatus, Matthew says, Wojaslav, Matilda says, Ave Maria, Gracia Plena. Gernot says silence. Quiet. Cecilia says calm yourselves, all of you. Father Abbot, Baron Rothvogel's manservant is already preparing to leave. The Baron's wife should be here in a matter of hours. This is not the time for rash decisions. Gernot says yes, you're right. Forgive me. But then, what will we do? Cecilia says we must send the Baron's man to the court of the Prince Bishop in Freising at once. Matthew says Mother Cecilia, the Baron said the Prince Bishop's archdeacon was in Innsbruck for the imperial diet. Cecilia says even better. Swift action will silence any whispers of impropriety on our part. Given the Baron's stature, the archdeacon will undoubtedly come to investigate immediately. We must cooperate with him fully and pray for a speedy resolution. Gernot says yes. Good. Thank you, Mother Cecilia. Brother Wojaslav, please detain Brother Piero in the cellar until the Prince Bishop's man arrives. Wojaslav says what? Brother Piero. What? Option 1 of 3, that's absurd. Option 2 of 3, Father Gernot, I implore you to reconsider. Option 3 of 3, say nothing. Option 2 of 3, Father Gernot says he was caught in flagrante delicto. Covered in blood with a knife in his hand. Florian says, Father, do you really believe that Brother Piero is capable of such a foul deed? Gernot says yes. Capable enough when motivated by anger. Piero says I had no anger against the Baron, Father Abbot. I simply came across him like this. Gernot says no anger? Not even for insulting your work and forcing us to give it to Andreas? This is not a subject for debate. When the Prince Bishop's man arrives, we must not be empty-handed. Option 1 of 2, even if Piero wanted to kill the Baron, he's not physically capable of the act. Option 2 of 2, he wasn't angry. Anyone who was in the scriptorium knows that. Even Guy knows that. Gernot says be quiet. This is not your affair. Option 1 of 2, it is my affair if you're going to make me part of Brother Piero's supposed motive. Option 2 of 2, forgive me, Father Gernot. I just don't think that Brother Piero could have done this. Gernot says your position has been noted. My decision stands. Brother Wojaslav will detain Brother Piero in the cellar until I say otherwise. Brother Florian, please escort Andreas out of the abbey. Andreas, do not show your face here again until tomorrow. Do you understand me? Option 1 of 3, yes. Option 2 of 3, this is ridiculous, but yes. Florian says, Andreas, listen to me. I sympathize with you. I don't think Piero did this, either, but this isn't the time to push the abbot. I'm sure the other brothers and sisters believe Piero is innocent as well, but the abbot is worried about the Prince Bishop's attention. Option 1 of 2, if you have any recommendations, I'd love to hear them. Option 2 of 2, I have to do something. I can't let Piero die for something he didn't do. Florian says I appreciate your passion, but if you pursue this indelicately, you could make matters worse. Take a few hours to calm your nerves and your mind. You need to think clearly. Go to the Druckers, eat a good meal, and come back at nuns. We won't have much time, but tap on my window with a small stone and I'll let you in. Player says let me in for what? Florian says to examine the body. Player says I should follow Florian's advice and go to the Druckers. Hopefully it will clear my head.